Hello there everyone, it's TIJL Toby and welcome back to another FM18 team guide. I'm doing one for all the Premier League teams and today it's the turn of AFC Bournemouth. I did a save on YouTube on FM17 with this club, so I'm quite familiar with the players. Obviously most of the players, there have been a few ins and outs over the summer, but if I look at the squad there actually isn't that many. Of course I did it on the summer transfer update on FM17, so no wonder why it hasn't changed so much. Oh god, I'm so stupid. But anyway, let's get onto the squad straight away. They've got a really good goalkeeper. They haven't really got much centre-back depth, so I've had a look at a few centre-backs. We've got Nake, well, N.Ake, I guess you could say, but Ake, Cook and Francis that can play centre-back with Charlie Daniels and Tyrone Mings left-back. They haven't really got much midfield depth, but they've got Harry Arter, Dan Gosling, Lewis Cook, Sermon and Hinman, and then they've got a few good wingers consisting of like Ibe, Pugh, and even Mahoney is a younger option as well as Ryan Fraser. And then up front they've got the options of King, Defoe, Afobe, and Wilson, leading to a good attacking depth as well as a good goalkeeper depth as well. It's important to point out that there are improvements required at centre back as well as attacking midfield and defensive midfield as well. And there's also room for coaching and scouting improvements on that team, and all you need to do for that is go to the responsibilities and make sure your chairman hires some coaching and non-coaching staff just to mean that the team is bought a little bit better in terms of coaching and scouting. So if we look at the shortlist straight away, I've come up with 4 players that you could sign. More experience necessarily in the midfield department, however. Charlie Adam, as you load the game up, he's actually transfer listed for 3.8 million, and with only 14 million, he'd be a good target for you to buy. He's obviously a bit more experienced, but you know, I think you need experience in this squad. If you compare him to Harry Arter, obviously Arter's a little bit better in some areas, but his vision and aerials are a lot better. Charlie Adam, really, I think if you're a football fan, English football fan, you know who Charlie Adam is. He's been around the block. He's been to Stoke, Liverpool and Blackpool, as well, of course, as Rangers, St Mirren and Ross County. And he started at Rangers all the way back in 2002. A secondary option you could have for that position is Jack Rodwell, who's just been relegated, of course, with Sunderland, but he's got much experience in the Premier League. Started with Everton, moving to Man City a few years ago, and then moving to Sunderland a few years ago as well. If we compare the two between Rodwell and Charlie Adam, obviously Charlie Adam is going to be a little bit less than Jack Rodwell. Jack Rodwell valued at 6.5 million, probably cost you about 7.5. But as you can see, Rodwell's got better speed, physicals, defending, and aerial stats. But the big one for Charlie Adam is that his vision stats is a lot better than Jack Rodwell. But Jack Rodwell has got age on his side and would be a good, well, not necessarily a good leader, but he's got a decent work rate. He's got good mentals, good physicals, particularly his stamina. Not necessarily good free kick taking or long throws, but we'll gloss over those anyway. A few centre-back options you could have is Jamal Lascelles, who's actually the team leader at Newcastle, being the captain. His teamwork and leadership are pretty good. His fitness and strength are quite good. If we compare him to Nathan Ake, who's really the rising star at Bournemouth, as you can see, Ake's attacking and technical stats are a bit better, but Lascelles is much better in the air, mentally and defensively. So Lascelles would cost you a bit more money. I do appreciate that. Maybe next year you could sign him or even get him on loan. That'd be quite tricky though, with him being a first-team player. But if you could lure him to the club, I'd be very impressed. And with his contract only ending in a year and 11 months, if Newcastle don't sign a new deal with him, you might be able to get him quite cheap. Another player you could have at centre-back is Florin Gardos, the Romanian from Southampton. He's only a backup player, and he's transfer listed for 3.6 million. If we compare him to Jamal Lascelles, obviously Lascelles got age on his side compared to Gardos, but Gardos is better in the vision, attacking, and technical stats. Lascelles' vision actually is very worrying. It's very, very low. But they've both got good stats, and would both be good additions, I should say, to your team. If we go on tactics, then the tactic I would probably use is a 4-2-2 with Defoe, Wilson, Afobe and King also almost rotated to fill those spots. And then the same really goes in attacking midfield. You've got Pugh, Stanislas, Ibe, Fraser and King that can pretty much play both wings with Conor Mahoney as well, a young option. So really rotate those 5 or 6 players and you'll have no problem. At centre midfield, I'll probably play Gosling, Arter and Sermon in rotation. Him and Cook are a little bit younger, sorry. So maybe send them out on loan perhaps if you do bring in one of the midfield options. But if you want to keep them, rotate them in, that's fine. At centre-back, you can play Francis, Cook and Ake. Then the other centre-back you bring in. Then right-back Francis and left-back Charlie Daniels with Asmir Begovic in goal. If we look at the dynamics very quickly, the hierarchy, you've got Francis, Sermon and Cook who are at the top of the tree. I appreciate that it's not very good to see those player names. We've got Defoe's obviously getting on a little bit. Boruch and Mark Pugh as highly influential players. And if you look at the social groups, there's like Conor Mahoney and Josh King, who are younger players that might not fit in at the moment, but they've got a very good core social group, so the dressing room atmosphere is inevitably going to be very good. If we look at young prospects then at Bournemouth, of course we've got the likes of him and Cook, but we've also got Lys Mousset, who is fantastic for me in my FM17 save, and he's a backup player, but definitely could become a good player for the squad. We've also got the likes of Bailey Cargill, Corey Jordan, Max Gradley, who's getting on a little bit now, you might want to sell him, as well as the likes of Matt Butcher. Adam Frederici, of course, is not a young prospect, but definitely could be using that first team. I'll actually just transfer him now to the senior squad. And if we have a quick look at the under-18s, we've got Ryan Glover, who is the best hope in that squad. He's only about 6 months older than me. That's very interesting. If we'll have a quick look again at the team report, just to have a review. Obviously, the coaching and scouting needs to be improved, but you've got good depth, I'd say, in right back, attack, and goalkeeper. It's been quite a short one today, to be honest. As I'm doing all these team guides, they seem to be getting shorter by each one I'm doing, but obviously the amount I'm covering is exactly the same. For Bournemouth, it's going to be quite a tricky one to stay up, I think, in the Premier League, because as we know, in real life, they've had quite a poor start to the season. But as a rising club, hopefully you might be able to keep them up. Let me know how they do in your saves in the comments. If you've got a YouTube save, feel free to leave it down in the comments. If I'm feeling generous, I will share it or give it a shout out in one of my videos. And that has pretty much been it for the Bournemouth team guide. Quite a short one today. If you've got any transfer suggestions, put them down in the comments. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6 and 8 PM for 2 more team guides on FM18. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.